Imagine you're a Mustang fan scouring the horizon for the next great muscle car. You see both the 2025 and 2026 Mustangs on the lot, looking almost identical at first glance. Which one do you pick? We're breaking down every meaningful difference between the 2025 and 2026 Mustangs, so you can decide which Mustang hits the sweet spot. Both model years ride on Ford's latest Mustang platform, packing legendary V8 engines and turbo engines. But each has its own flavor. Spoiler alert, the 2026 Mustang brings some cool new tech and styling touches, like a massive curved display and retro-inspired FX package, while the 2025 is a proven performer, with perhaps a bit more bang for your buck right now. By the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly what changed and what didn't. From exterior looks and interior comforts to engines, infotainment, and trim-by-trim differences. Buckle up, because this is the ultimate chat about the 2025 versus 2026 Mustang. Pony car passion, detailed comparisons, and all the enthusiast talk. Exterior design comparison. Both the 2025 and 2026 Mustangs share the classic modern Mustang silhouette. Long hood, short deck, sloping fastback roofline, and that big running pony emblem. So they look unmistakably like kin. Ford didn't overhaul the body sheet metal for 26. Instead, the changes are in the details. The most obvious difference is color. The 2026 Mustang adds fresh paint options that really pop. Adriatic Blue Metallic and Orange Fury Metallic Tri-Coat join the palette. Adriatic Blue is a deep tealish blue, while Orange Fury is a loud tangerine tri-coat. These join staples like Race Red, Shadow Black, Carbonized Gray, Iconic Silver, and Oxford White. In plain terms, if you like bright, eye-catching colors, the 2026 gives you more choices. Another new exterior element for 2026 is Ford's FX Appearance Package, exclusive to the GT Premium, both coupe and convertible. It's a retro-inspired bundle that absolutely screams old-school Mustang. The FX package paints the 19-inch wheels and badging in Oxford White, adds white accents on the grille and taillights, basically giving the car a ghost white look everywhere. Think Fox Body Mustang nostalgia, white 5-spoke wheels and plaid interior trim. We'll get to that later. The 2025 Mustang, by contrast, didn't have this FX package, so any white accent visuals, like white wheels or badges, are unique to 2026. Other styling tweaks. Ford notes that on 2026 convertibles, a trunk spoiler delete is now standard, so the base trunk is clean. And a new wedge-style rear spoiler is available on EcoBoost models. Previously, only GTS got that. Also, 18-inch shadow silver wheels become standard on EcoBoost models, instead of the old black-faced ones. These are subtle changes. Unless you're counting wheel colors and spoilers, both Mustangs share LED projector headlights with signature lighting, tri-bar sequential taillights, and muscular fender flares. In short, from across the lot, the two years are very similar, with the 2026 announcing itself via brighter color options, and that special FX trim on the GT Premium. Iconic pony car features remain: the classic silhouette, big pony emblem, and muscular body. Because Ford didn't mess with the core look. Interior and comfort features. Step inside and you'll immediately notice Ford's new curved glass display in the 2026 model. The 2026 Mustang's dashboard is dominated by a flush 13.2-inch touchscreen that flows seamlessly into a 12.4-inch digital gauge cluster under one continuous piece of curved glass. It looks very future cockpit. The screens are angled toward the driver, giving a fighter jet vibe, and there are minimal physical buttons. By comparison, the 2025 Mustang still has a big touchscreen, 13.2-inch sync display, and a digital cluster. But they're separate units. The cluster is standalone behind the wheel. In practical terms, both cars give you Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Ford's Sync 4 interface on a large screen. But the 2026's screens flow together and have updated graphics. Materials and amenities are largely similar, but the 2026 introduces a few personalization touches. Notably, Ford added new seatbelt color options in 2026. Instead of only black or red belts, you can now pick belts with a black with red stripe pattern, international orange, or prime blue on select models. These bright straps peek through the cabin and give that Mustang flair, something the 2025, or earlier 2024, didn't offer. Likewise, the 2026 interior can be tricked out with more color-coordinated stitching to match. The FX package's interior is a standout. It brings plaid cloth inserts on the seats with blue-silver stitching, a callback to classic Mustangs of the 60s and 70s. Imagine vintage plaid racing seats in a modern pony car. Definitely a retro vibe. The 2025 Mustang didn't have any plaid or FX touches, so only the 2026 GT Premium with the FX kit gets that unique pattern. Beyond these novelties, comfort features track with trim level. EcoBoost base cars have cloth sport seats, manual front seats, single-zone AC, and a standard seat heater. While premium trims, EcoBoost Premium or GT Premium, get leather-trimmed seats, heated and ventilated fronts, and dual-zone climate control. For example, the EcoBoost Premium adds leather seating and a Bang & Olufsen sound system, whereas the base EcoBoost comes with cloth seats and a 6-speaker stereo. These differences are true on both 2025 and 2026, so a GT Premium has richer materials than a base GT in either year. One highlight is the 2026's aircraft-inspired dashboard with carbon fiber trim and perforated leather seats, giving a very upscale, techy feel. One last interior note. Ambient lighting and nifty digital cluster skins are improved on 2026. The digital gauges can even mimic classic Mustang dials at a button click, and they adapt color schemes to your drive mode. These software tricks come with the new display, so they're part of the 2026 update. In contrast, the 2025 Mustang's gauges, while high-tech, don't have the same sweeping curved glass layout or added personalization options. In summary, both cabins feel sporty and driver-focused, but the 2026 adds an extra dose of modern style with its panoramic screen and additional color/trim options, like the seatbelt colors and plaid inserts, that the 2025 doesn't have. Performance and driving feel. Under the hood, the heart of the Mustang is largely unchanged between 2025 and 2026. Ford carried over the same 3 engines for 2026 that were in the 2025 model. That means every Mustang still starts with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder, turbocharged, making 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. The step-up is the classic 5.0-liter Coyote V8, good for 480 horsepower and about 415 pound-feet in base GT trim. And at the top end, the Dark Horse's tuned V8 cranks out around 500 horsepower. In fact, the 2026 Dark Horse's Coyote is billed as Ford's most powerful, naturally aspirated 5.0-liter V8 ever. Since the engines didn't change, straight-line performance is almost identical. 0 to 60 times remain roughly 4.5 seconds for an EcoBoost Auto, 4.2 seconds for a GT with performance exhaust, and approximately 4.1 seconds for a Dark Horse with its track grip. These are muscle car rockets, whether it's a 2025 or 2026. The feel of the V8's growl and the EcoBoost's turbo kick will be the same. Where 2026 adds to the driving experience is in subtle tech and suspension tweaks. For example, the available GT Performance package, on either year, adds things like Brembo brakes, a Torsen limited slip rear end, stiffer springs, and unique wheels. Also, selectable drive modes, normal, sport, track, etc., launch control, and even a drift brake for burnouts are on both model years. The 2026 pairs these with its new high-def gauges and animations, e.g., gauges that move for track apps data. In practice, though, if you want raw throttle response and engine note, a 2025 GT feels the same as a 2026 GT with the same exhaust. The one notable mechanical shift on the Dark Horse for 2026, the automatic transmission becomes standard, and the manual is optional. In 2025, the stick was standard on the Dark Horse. So if you love manuals, just be aware that trend may continue on the 2026 Dark Horse. You may have to specifically order the 6-speed. Ride and handling. Ford hasn't teased any revised suspension geometry or chassis changes for 2026. The Dark Horse remains the track-focused layout, Magna-Ride dampers, stiffer sway bars, and the GT models are still rear-drive muscle cars with modern traction control. One difference is the new FX package only affects appearance, white wheels, grille, etc., not the driving gear. So, in the twisties or on the strip, a 2025 and 2026 GT will feel nearly identical if they have the same options. The main difference you will feel is more cues from electronics. The 2026's giant screen can give you better data, like live power meter or tire temps, and the refreshed interior might feel a tad newer or more configurable. But the accelerator pedals kick and the steering weight are the same classic Mustang experience in both years. Tech and infotainment. When it comes to tech, the 2026 Mustang makes the most noticeable leaps. The centerpiece is that dual 13.2-inch plus 12.4-inch glass display setup. The 2025 Mustang already had Ford's Sync 4 infotainment system, with a 13.2-inch touchscreen and a 12.4-inch digital cluster. But in 2026, they're merged under one pane and driven by a new processor. What this means for you on the road is smoother graphics, pinch-to-zoom maps, and a really slick digital experience mode, where animation flows between gauges and maps. All 2026 Mustangs come standard with this full tech. Even base EcoBoost models get navigation capability on the big screen and voice recognition. That's up from the previous year, where navigation was optional and the gauge/display were separate. Connectivity is another area where the 2026 pulls ahead. Ford introduced an onboard connectivity package for the first year of ownership. It gives you an in-car Wi-Fi hotspot, up to 10 devices, built right into the car, so you can connect your phone and other gadgets without tethering. It also includes connected navigation, Google Maps integration, Alexa and Google Assistant for voice commands, and streaming music services. In practice, you'll see Google-like map graphics on the screen and can ask Alexa to change the radio station. All of this tech is free for 1 year with the car. In contrast, the 2025 Mustang had Bluetooth and wireless Apple CarPlay/Android Auto, if equipped, but it didn't have a built-in 4G hotspot or Google/Assistant features. Other tech features carry over or improve. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard on both years, and Ford Copilot 360 safety tech, lane keep assist, blind spot monitors, automatic braking, etc., is on both. A nice touch is that in 2026, the 12.4-inch cluster can be customized for different data displays, like a lap timer or G-meter. By comparison, the 2025 cluster was also customizable, but not under the same curved screen, so it feels like a separate element. In short, from a tech standpoint, the 2026 Mustang feels modern and connected. You'll notice the difference from the driver's seat. Maps are sharper, the voice control is friendlier, and that new display is very wow-inducing. The 2025 Mustang still has plenty of tech by previous generation standards, but it lacks the built-in Wi-Fi and the 2026's integrated screen experience. Trim levels explained and compared. Let's break down the trims in plain terms and note any differences between the years. The 2025 and 2026 Mustangs share the same lineup of models: EcoBoost, EcoBoost Premium, GT, GT Premium, Dark Horse, Dark Horse Premium, plus some convertibles. The big changes in 2026 are mostly feature add-ons, but the core distinctions between trims stay the same. EcoBoost versus EcoBoost Premium. Both use the 315 horsepower turbo 2.3-liter engine. The base EcoBoost is the entry model. Cloth seats, standard 6-speaker stereo, single-zone AC, and a modest feature set. The EcoBoost Premium adds luxury touches. leather-trimmed seats with optional heated ventilated fronts, ambient interior lighting, and an upgraded sound system. EcoBoost Premium is the luxury version of the same engine. The base EcoBoost provides essential Mustang performance, while the EcoBoost Premium adds luxury appointments and upgraded audio. GT versus GT Premium. Both have the 5.0-liter V8, 480 horsepower, or approximately 486 horsepower with the active exhaust option. The GT Premium is the fully loaded version of the GT. It gets leather seats with heated ventilated fronts, dual-zone climate control, premium interior trim, and typically the larger premium stereo. The base GT is more performance-focused, cloth seats, single-zone AC, and simpler trim. The GT Premium in 2026 also is the one that can get the new FX pack, plaid seats, white wheels, which you couldn't on a 2025. In other words, the standard GT focuses on performance fundamentals, while the GT Premium incorporates luxury features and premium materials. Dark Horse versus GT. The Dark Horse is essentially a track-tuned Mustang, whereas the regular GT is the classic street muscle car. Both have V8s, but the Dark Horse's engine is a high-output Coyote that makes about 500 horsepower, compared to the GT's 480 horsepower. More importantly, the Dark Horse comes with upgraded suspension, big Brembo brakes, special aero bits, and performance tires as standard. The Dark Horse is the track-focused pinnacle of the lineup. So if the GT is raw power in a Mustang body, the Dark Horse is raw power in a Mustang body that's been sharpened for the track. This difference is the same in 2025 and 2026. The Dark Horse remains the full 500 horsepower track model. One nuance: Dark Horse is only a fastback, no convertible, whereas the GT is offered as either coupe or drop top. In all cases above, the 2026 versions inherit the same trim distinctions and add a few exclusive touches. For example, on 2026 GT Premium, you can add the new FX pack, which you couldn't on a 2025. On EcoBoost Premium 2026, you can swap in the panoramic magnesium frame display and the extra seatbelt colors. But fundamentally, if you lined up a 2025 GT next to a 2026 GT Premium without any fancy packages, they'd look and feel similar, except maybe for color and wheel choices you've picked. Pricing overview. Without going too deep on numbers, it's safe to say the 2026 Mustang is priced very similarly to the 2025, with only modest changes. The base EcoBoost Fastback for 2026 starts around $32,320 MSRP, and a fully loaded Dark Horse Premium top-of-line can approach $69,000. Those figures are nearly identical to the 2025 range. In short, Ford isn't dramatically jacking up prices. Expect 2026 to cost maybe a few $100s more on some trims, a bit less on others. So practically speaking, if budget is your main factor, a 2025 Mustang might save you a little cash, or come with dealer incentives, while the 2026 is almost the same ballpark. Don't worry, you're not looking at a massive price jump. The decision is more about features and freshness than cost. The new colors, packages, and connectivity in 2026 might justify paying a touch more, whereas the 2025 could have more dealer markdowns. Final verdict: who should buy which year? At the end of the day, the choice between a 2025 and a 2026 Mustang really comes down to priorities. Do you want the absolute newest goodies or a known deal on yesterday's model? The 2025 Mustang is a proven performer. It has the same punchy engines and well-sorted handling, and by now owners and reviewers have ironed out any kinks. It's likely to be slightly cheaper, and you can drive it home today without waiting. In other words, if you crave classic Mustang thrills and want to save a few bucks, the 2025 is still a fantastic ride. The 2026 Mustang, on the other hand, adds those fresh details that could tip the scales. You get new tech, curved high-res displays, an included Wi-Fi hotspot, Google/Voice Assist, more personalization, new colors, special trim cues, seatbelt colors. and retro chic styling packs. The FX package on the GT Premium with white wheels and plaid seats. If those features speak to you, for example, if you must have that new color or the cool plaid interior accents, then waiting, or springing, for a 2026 might be worth it. Both years deliver the raw Mustang DNA, the raucous V8 or eager EcoBoost engine, the Mustang growl, the sporty rear-drive handling. But the 2026 wraps it in a techier, slightly more premium package. So, Mustang fans, there you have it, a deep dive into how the 2025 and 2026 Mustangs compare inside and out. From fresh orange paint to new tech gizmos, we've covered all the highlights. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. Are you eyeing the 2025 for its value and proven track cred? Or are you waiting for the 2026 with its shiny new displays and retro FX package? Maybe you've already had one of each. Either way, drop a line and let's chat. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more car comparisons and details. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time when we tackle another ride in the garage.